The way in which solar and battery customers earn revenue from exporting energy back to the grid in 2026 changed in a big way. And for most people, that meant losing income from falling export rates. I mean, some customers were losing up to 30% of their export revenue, and the reality, they couldn't do much about it. But some savvy owners gamed the system. They found a way around a cheat code, and they've been able to earn more money than everyone else who stayed on those falling rates, like me. In today's video, I'm going to share a strategy with you which just might improve those export payments and bring more value to your solar and battery system. Now, I've also got real data from a live system that's running this very strategy, and I've got a comparison to see how this would look if no action was taken like mine. And this video isn't just for current solar and battery owners. If you're thinking about solar, maybe you've already had that quote from Heatable, and you're wondering, how are these export payments going to affect my system? Are they going to become worthless? Well, I'm going to explain everything for you today. But first, let's take a look. How does export actually work? And also, what happened earlier in the year that changed everything? When you generate solar power, it has three places to go. One is straight to a load in the home, like a kettle or a washing machine. And then the difference between the generation that's on the roof and those loads in the home filters down into the battery. And once that battery is full, well, that remaining energy is automatically pushed out and exported to the grid. Now, all of this export is managed under a framework called SEG, Smart Export Guarantee, and it's a legal requirement that is managed by Ofgem that legislates energy retailers to pay you for exported energy that you send them after it's gone to your load, your battery, and goes out to them. They have to buy it. But the way the system works is that the legislation says that anything above zero is legal. So like 1 pence per kilowatt hour is legal under the agreement, but suppliers compete for customers in this market. So typically what you'll find is rates hover around 10 to 15 pence. And there's one big player in market, Octopus Energy, and they've paid for as long as I can remember 15 pence per kilowatt hour. However, back in, I think it was February or March, Octopus changed the game. They emailed all of the customers, me included, and said, rates are dropping. We're moving from a fixed export of 15 pence per kilowatt hour down to 12 pence per kilowatt hour. Now, at the time, they blamed market forces. They said that the Russian invasion of Ukraine had sort of settled down, energy prices were starting to level, but it didn't make much sense because whilst export prices were dropping, import prices were going up. So I think there's more to play, and we actually covered this on a recent video. I mean, back then we did a video talking about how it affected my own system, this rate drop, but recently we dropped another video onto the channel, and if you were subscribed, you wouldn't have missed it, about how this half-hourly settlement market works. This whole new energy system is getting more and more complex, and if you are an agile user, little pun there, Calvin, then there is a way forward and a way out of this. In a recent video, I talked about how energy generation isn't set at one fixed price each day. There are in fact 48 30-minute markets where energy is traded. Each half-hour slot is forecasted the day before, and it's all bought and sold by generators and retailers based on assumed consumption and production forecasting. Now, these deals are all done with 24 hours notice in a market called the day-ahead market. Now, prices move constantly in response to how much wind or solar is forecasted, how much demand is expected, and the last generator to step in and fill a gap, well, they set the price. Now, most of the time, right now in the UK, unfortunately, that is gas, which does increase the price, but there are plenty of slots where energy is cheap, renewable, and abundant. 99% of the tariffs in the UK that are sold like E.ON or British Gas all work on fixed pricing per kilowatt hour. So you might have a time of use tariff where you get a cheaper window, but usually you will buy your energy on a fixed rate, a fixed pence per kilowatt hour. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, and it doesn't matter what's going on in that energy market. And pretty much everyone who's on these tariffs, well, they won't know that all that energy is being traded in 30-minute increments. I mean, it makes no difference to them. Essentially, what is happening here is that energy companies are taking an aggregate on what this market costs, they put a margin on top, and for a retail customer, you buy energy at a fixed price. They deal with the variance, and that was the same for export too. These fixed export tariffs work the same way. It didn't matter what was being paid in market, you got that much no matter what time of the day. Now this 30-minute market is all about procuring energy for the cheapest possible cost and trying to match it to the consumption in that moment. And all of this export from 1.7 million solar systems, that's how many are in the UK right now, contributes to this market. And the issue suppliers have is they don't know when you're going to export that energy to them. So if they're offering you a fixed price per kilowatt hour, it could be at any time of the day. Maybe you send it when they don't want it. Maybe you don't send it when they need it. And there is a massive advantage to an energy retailer who knows when you are going to send them export and when you are going to consume from them, because the smarter they can buy in this 30-minute market either means they can make more money, or they could drop prices to attract more customers. And especially when it comes to export, if you have high export, you will pay more for that energy that comes into the system. But if you can control when it's going to come to you, you can pay more. And when you pay more for export, you also get customers who will import from you, because typically in the UK, if you're exporting to your energy supplier, you're also buying from them too. Now this 30-minute market has existed for longer than I've been alive, and it's always been done this way. But things are changing. Lots of homes are now getting smart meters, so retailers know more about when you actually consume energy, and data should bring efficiency and also should bring down costs. But there is one supplier who's making a bit of a leap on the market here. They've jumped ahead with a tariff that moves away from fixed cost energy and moves on to something in that 30-minute market, and that product is called Octopus Agile. This is an energy tariff that doesn't offer fixed pricing per kilowatt hour. Instead, they publish the energy rates by 30-minute segments with 24 hours notice. Now, these rates track that day-ahead market, plus a markup for the fat cats, the energy companies. And it's basically your way to see pricing in real-time, half-hour increments. Now, Octopus publish all the data here. Now, historical data is also available, which is really useful to see, because you can look back and you can analyze your own energy patterns to see how you would have performed on importing energy from Octopus Agile. But moving to Agile does require a certain type of customer, one who ideally has renewables, maybe the ability to store energy, and for those who have a basic ability to manage their energy usage because they have renewables, maybe they have electrified heating and they have connected devices. It's not one just to move on to if you don't have any of that tech. However, there is a halfway house. Agile outgoing. You can swap your fixed outgoing export tariff to the Agile export tariff without any risk of being on variable import rates. And if you did that when Octopus announced that these prices were going to drop, then it would have looked like this. Dave, who works in the technical team here at Heatable, he's got 12 panels, a Tesla Powerwall 3. It's not a huge system. He'll hate me for saying that, but he gets reasonable generation and he charges that Powerwall at night. Now, until the 13th of the 3rd, 2026, he was exporting on that fixed outgoing tariff and he was earning 15 pence per kilowatt hour. Now, after the drop, when it goes to 12 pence per kilowatt hour, he moved to the Agile outgoing tariff, and he did this on the 14th, but he kept a log of what happened after that date. He kept a record of daily export in kilowatt hours from his Tesla system. Now, he calculated what he would have earned being on that fixed 12 pence per kilowatt hour export rate, and for that period, it was about 60 days, he would have earned about £1.68 per day. He exported a total of 825 kilowatt hours, and for all that generation, he'd have earned £100 and 76 pence on that 12p tariff. Dave also kept a daily total of what he'd actually earn on that Agile tariff, and that's in these cells here. Now with Agile, there is no fixed export rate, so we calculated the average rate paid for each kilowatt hour in the exported day, and that can be seen here. Now the rates paid was sometimes like 1 pence, and then 2 hours later, they could jump to like 40 pence export, so we had to average it. Now the important bit here is the Tesla battery system managed the whole process automatically, and the reason, it's connected to the Agile tariff. Now I'm going to explain more how this works later. Now what this all equated to was that on average he earned 5 pence more per kilowatt hour, equating to 17 pence per kilowatt hour on this Agile export compared to that fixed price that everyone else was getting, including me, 12 pence per kilowatt hour. A 42% uplift in export rates, which equated to a 36.1% uplift in revenue. Now the reason these two don't align is because, as we previously mentioned, we had to average those Agile rates. We took the daily export, we took the amount paid, and we just divided one by the other. But the reality, there was multiple events in the day. Now the one to focus on here is the uplift in export revenue. That's the important one because ultimately that's the cash that's going to go into your bank. So for a 36% uplift in revenue, how did Dave actually do it? I mean, how was it managed? And more importantly, can you guys do the same? Now moving to that tariff was super easy to do. You can apply online on the Octopus website and just shift your outgoing export to the Agile export tariff. Now what Dave did is he retained his import tariff like we mentioned earlier, and he is on the Go tariff. Now this was an important factor in his earnings because the way the Tesla system works is it charges that battery at night. And this is a crucial point because with Tesla, it has the ability to read all of the tariff information, and it can communicate with Kraken, which is Octopus's energy management system, to give you the best outcome. But it also goes one step further. I mean, it's looking at all those 24-hour auction results, but what Tesla's also doing is looking, how does your home behave? What's the weather going to be like tomorrow? Because if it's going to be super sunny, then we might have a different strategy for our battery. Maybe we're not going to take as much in import. Maybe we're going to maximize that import. If it's not going to be sunny, how's consumption going to look? And also, when do we use our loads in our home? Because if there's a moment where we typically use a lot of energy, but also the export rates are really high, Tesla needs to make all the adjustments to make sure we've got enough spare juice to send to the grid for maximum return. Tesla right now are the only battery system that have this automatic connection to the Kraken energy systems. There are other players in the market like Sig Energy who sort of simulate it or emulate it. They can still read the 24-hour market, but they have their own adjustments and their own way of trying to get you a return. So if you have a Sig Energy battery, you can get somewhat close to the full system of having a Tesla integration. But if you've got a standard home energy battery in your property, it's unlikely that it will connect directly to the Agile tariff. Now, does this mean that you can't go on it? No. What it means is you're not going to get the full automation. And unless you're managing your energy usage by half-hour increments, then you're probably not going to be able to beat a fixed output export tariff. With the Tesla system, it just connects. Now, there is going to be some changes in this market. We spoke to Octopus recently, and they're currently in the process of redesigning the communication API between all of these battery manufacturers and getting it on one single language. Now, when that is done, what it's going to mean is there's going to be an open market that can integrate with these Agile tariffs. Now, will that change the rates when everyone suddenly moves onto Agile? Will this sort of opportunity to earn more than these fixed prices be removed? Well, we'll keep an eye on it and we'll report on it as soon as we see. But if you have a Tesla battery right now, you are exporting solar and you are on a fixed export tariff, then moving to Agile might work for you. I mean, you have to make your own assessment here. Obviously, we've got Dave's data from his own system and we've shared it with you today, but your circumstances might be different and you might not be better off. But looking at the average rate paid of 17 pence per kilowatt hour, if you're on like 12 pence right now, you should earn more income. If you're watching this and you don't have solar or you don't have a Tesla and maybe you want to get a quote for that, then Heatable can help. We have an online quoting system. You can book a free design call with one of our experts and they can talk you through this agile connection into the Kraken network. We have 0% APR available on the Tesla battery range at the moment as well, only while stocks last. That's all my selling done for this video. Now, we will be watching this market closely, as I said, and we plan to test the import side of the agile tariff to see again, are you going to be better off on the import side as well as the export? Now, we will have to do this on Dave's system. We'll do it with Tesla because we want that full integration. And if you didn't see that video we posted last week about time of use tariffs and about how this energy market is changing, then it is on screen for you right now. It is a really interesting video, and if this one has been good for you, then you will definitely enjoy that one. And on that point, if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. And just one last check, are you subscribed to the Heatable YouTube channel? Because if you're not, you'd have missed this video, you've probably missed that last video, and you'll definitely miss the next one. See you there.